So I just joined an hourly bullet arena, but I'm only here to play one game. I'm not here to stay. I'm playing against a 1567 rated opponent, and there we see d4. Let me go knight f6 and e5, the Budapest defense. So pawn to e5 is coming next, c4, e5. If pawn takes, I'll go knight g4. So let's see. There we see d takes e5. Now knight g4. This is the Budapest defense. I expect to see knight f3. Yep. So knight f3 by white. Now I can play pawn to d6 or knight c6. Let me try pawn to d6. You know, trying to play my reverse Tennyson Gambit. Yeah. So d6. If pawn takes, I'll take back with my dark squared bishop. I expect this guy to take my d6 pawn because of his rating. Yep, and that happened. There we see pawn to g3. Something is fishy here. I can sacrifice my knight on f2 and later on win the queen. So knight takes f2, double attacking the rook and the queen. If king takes, I have bishop takes g3 check and then win white's queen on d1. So I just used my intuition because I know how most 1500s play their chess, and this is not an insult. If anything, this is a call for improvement, you guys. You don't have to play chess like this. Anyways, queen d5 is played. Now I can take the free rook on h1. So knight takes, and there we see bishop g2. Clearly my knight is trapped, so it has to die with dignity. So knight takes g3. My knight has to die with dignity, and then bishop takes check. So these are what we call desperado moves. You know, you don't just have to let your piece die alone. So let me just castle shot. Yeah, if queen takes, I have rook takes d8 and then mate like that, as I have highlighted on the board. Okay, so queen takes d8. Now rook takes d. Oh god, my opponent is playing very fast despite the fact that he's making a lot of mistakes. Knight c3. Now I can just develop my queen's knight, I guess, or play bishop g4, is it? Or knight c6. I don't even know what I should do at this point. Let's see. Bishop g4. Anything looks great in this position. I mean, anything that I can do. There we see bishop g5, attacking my rook, obviously, so I need to play rook e8. And then knight c6 next. Yeah, so this is how you play the reverse Tennyson Gambit, you guys, which resembles the Budapest defense somehow. There we see pawn to e3. Now I can just play knight d7, intending to go knight c5, and then knight e4 next. Yeah, I could have also played knight c6. What is that? Bishop f4. I think let me just take the bishop. And what next? Let me just play knight. Yeah, knight c5. I can't see anything else. And then pawn to c6 is coming. Then rook a d8. Wow, knight e5 attacking my last squad bishop. I need to do something about this. Maybe bishop e6 makes a lot of sense. I don't know why my opponent is playing so fast. You know, you need to learn how to play slow chess. Don't just please. So rook e1, knight. Okay, first pawn to c6. And then knight d3 is coming. So with pawn to c6, I just prevented white, you know, from capturing my b7 pawn. Knight e4. Let me just exchange knights. Yeah, just simplifying the games, right? Okay. Bishop takes e4 now. Okay, this is bad. This is bad. Now I can go rook d2, targeting the a2 pawn in case white does nothing. Okay, so rook e2. Let me go bishop h3 check before taking the pawn or the rook. Yeah, now let me take the rook and then pawn to f6, win a free piece. Yep, so this is just bad for white already. So f6, I'm going to win either the knight or the last squad bishop. So this is very bad for white. I didn't expect my opponent to run into these cheap traps anyways. And he's playing very fast. I'm just going to win a piece here for free. Has my opponent abandoned this game or what is happening? Yeah, he was playing very fast in the opening stage, but all of a sudden he has slowed down his pace. Maybe he wants to resign, but it doesn't even matter at this point. Finally, there we see knight takes c6, another blunder. I think I can just take the knight before taking the bishop, because the bishop is still pinned. So b takes c6. Yeah, and next, yeah, bishop g2 check and win the white bishop. Time is ticking. I'm just going to flag him. Let me just grab all the pawns. Just take all the pawns, everything that white has. Pop check, and then take the f pawn, put the rook on e5, and then promote into a dinosaur if I want. Okay, so finally my opponent has resigned. Yeah, so before I play the second game, you guys, be sure to hit the like button and subscribe and join membership. Allow me to thank all of my patrons and all of you guys who purchased my new E5 defense course, which is now complete, obviously, which teaches you how to beat the Scotch, the Italian game, the Bishop's opening, the Vienna game, and other minor openings under E4. Right, so second game against the 2096 rated opponent. There we see pawn to d4, knight f6. I want to play the Budapest. Yeah, pawn to c4. Now I can go pawn to e5. So this is the Budapest defense, which mirrors the tennis on Gambit when you're having white pieces. So my idea is to go pawn to d6 after knight g4. I expect to see knight f. So white just played bishop f4, protecting his e5 pawn. Normally they play knight f3 by this time, after which I go knight c6, but anyways, knight f3 is going to come sooner or later. My idea is to go pawn to f6 and queen takes f6 in the near future, should white allow that. So knight c6, and there we see knight f3. So we are both targeting the e5 pawn. I just want to take back with my g knight. So if pawn takes, I'm going to take back with my queen. Yep, so queen takes f6 now, attacking the bishop and the b2 pawn. And this is where most of my opponents tend to blunder. There we see bishop c1. If knight c3, I was ready to sacrifice my knight on f2. So what am I going to do? Bishop c1. Let me go knight e5, so that if knight takes e5, I have queen takes f2 check, and later on I'm gonna win back the knight on e5 in some way. So let me just play knight e5, right? Yeah, knight e5 makes sense. So if knight takes, I have queen takes f2 check, but I don't think white will take my knight. I mean, is it 2096 rated open? What? I never expected this. I mean, this is what I was talking about, you guys. Don't just play whatever you plan. You should also learn to incorporate your opponent's plans into your strategic plans. Yep, so don't just concentrate on your plans. So queen e3 check, and then I'll win back the knight on e5. I didn't expect my opponent to fall for this cheap trap, or so to speak. I have pawn to d6 and bishop f5 check in the near future, if white allows. But the idea here is just to get back my piece, the piece that I sacrificed. So queen takes e5. And now I have knight f2 double attacking the rook and the queen. Like if white plays pawn to h3 in this position. And no, in case you're wondering, I'm playing using my hands, fingers, and not using my elbow. Anyway, that was just a dry joke. Queen d5. A clear indication that my opponent wants to exchange queens, but I have knight e3 anyways. So I have knight e3 check, and if bishop takes, I'm going to take back his dark square bishop with my queen. So queen d5 clearly indicates that white wants to exchange queens because he thinks my queen is more powerful than his. And this makes a lot of sense, you guys, but according to theory, you don't have to exchange your more powerful queen with your opponent's less active queen. So I'd rather play something like knight e3 check here, and then after bishop takes, I'll take back with my queen. So I think let me just go knight e3 check. I mean, what else can I do? What else do I know? Knight e3 check. Yeah, I expect to see bishop takes e3. What else? There's no any other logical move. Otherwise, I'm going to take white's queen on d5, so white should take. And I just removed that, by the way, in case you are confused. I mean, why that happened so fast. So next, I'm planning to go pawn to d6 and bishop f5 check. Give it a chance, provided that I won't hang my light squad bishop. Or bishop b4. So there we see knight c3 by white. Should I go bishop b4? Oh, there is queen e4 check. Like I can tell my opponent really wants to exchange queens. So let me just go bishop e7 so that if queen e4 comes, it doesn't come with check. So let me just go bishop e7. Yep. So next, if queen e4, I have queen h6 and pawn to d6 next. Right, so let's see what white is going to do here. Besides, I can also play queen b6 and then later on put my queen on h6. Look at that beautiful triangle. I love what I'm seeing on the board right now. So I have castle shot also once white moves away his queen. Okay, there we see rook d1. I think now it's high time to go pawn to d6, is it? Yeah, just paving way for my light squad bishop. Because what else do I know? And I also have something like rook f4 and then bishop f5 check. I just want to expose my opponent's king. That's the only way I'm going to mate him very fast. I feel good at this moment with my big eyeballs. There we see knight b5. Knight b5 targets my poor c7 pawn. So if I just play something like pawn to d6, white has knight takes d6 check, or in some lines, knight c7. So I have to play queen b6. Queen b6 defending my c7 pawn. So let's go. Queen b6. And white doesn't have anything in this position. He can't play knight takes d6 or knight c7. I have pawn to a6 coming. There we see pawn to e4. Clearly wanting to go e5 next. But let me just develop my light squad bishop here. I mean, what can I do? Let me just play something like bishop d7. Yeah, bishop d7, attacking the knight. Knight d4. Now I can easily castle long in this position or play bishop f6. But anyways, let me just put my king to safety. Castle long. And then this has become very easy for me, you guys. If you think about it, I have bishop f6 in the near future and a6 is coming, king b8. I just have a lot of things. Rook d3 by white, surely intending to go rook b3 next, but I have bishop f6. Oh, there is queen takes b7 check. So after rook b3, I will simply play bishop a4. So I'm making these plans in advance, you know, predicting my opponent's moves. That's what you guys are supposed to be doing. And that's what happened. See what I was talking about, you guys. So bishop a4, surely I'm going to win white's rook on b3. Not to mention that my dark squad bishop and my queen are both eyeballing the knight on d4. So this just went according to plan, you guys. And this is how you're supposed to be, you know, playing chess. Don't just depend on your moves and your strategic plans. I just love my life right now. Like, I love what I'm seeing. So yeah, this is almost game over. I'm 100% sure that my opponent can't stop this attack with his elbow or with his stomach. Just kidding. There we see bishop e2. I can just take on d4 with my bishop. So bishop takes d4. That's just a free knight. And next I'm gonna take a free rook on b3. Okay, so there my opponent just resigned, and that's finally the game, you guys. I just feel so good that this happened according to what I planned earlier. So you've seen how to play the Budapest, you guys. I highly recommend that you give it a try. It's one defense that has been forgotten in these modern times. But hey, there is nothing wrong with Budapest. It's very playable and the attack is just so good. So you better give it a try, and I hope you guys enjoyed watching this video. Thanks a lot. Now, time for you to go and check out my new E5 defense course, which I have also linked in the comment section down below. And I'm glad to say so far it has received a lot of attention and people are getting it like crazy. So it's an opening response that you try against white's e4 opening. You're going to learn how to play against the Scotch, the Ruy Lopez, the Bishop's opening, 3 Knights opening, the 4 Knights game, the Vienna game, even the Italian game. So it's the complete E5 defense course that I just launched with my team. You better go and check it out. Thank you so much for watching this video. Until next time, have a wonderful day. Bye bye.